All right, so Liz Cheney is clawing her way back into relevance, trying to get on TV, trying to get some eyeballs on her. Of course, she was humiliated and embarrassed by the Republican Party because they went full MAGA on her and defend their dear leader no matter what. Well, she wants the party to go back to the Dick Cheney era and the George W. Bush era, which is like, let's be horrible on policy, but also let's draw one single red line at we don't want to coup the United States of America. Okay. Well, even that's sort of like a soft claim because George W. Bush lost the 2000 election but ended up getting the presidency. But that's a longer conversation for another day. We don't need to get into that now. But here she is on CNN, and she makes a comment which raised quite a few eyebrows.
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see how things unfold. I think Donald Trump is the single most dangerous threat we face. I would imagine that there will be a number of other candidates in the race.
Would you be one of them?
I'll tell you what I am definitely going to do. I'm going to spend the next year between now and the election certainly helping to elect serious people, helping to elect sane people to Congress.
Of both parties?
Yes. Because I think that we could well find ourselves in a situation, given what we know the Trump folks are doing in terms of attempting to question the results of the election. We don't want a situation where the election is thrown into the House of Representatives and Donald Trump has any possibility at all of prevailing under those circumstances. So we've got to elect people who believe in the Constitution and who take their responsibilities seriously to Congress. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing that in addition to other things.
But you're not ruling out a presidential run?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And we'll see you when your book comes out.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
He said, you're not ruling out a presidential run. And she said, no, I'm not. So now Liz Cheney might run for president? Oh. Now, the speculation is, of course, that the no labels people are behind this. No label, it's like the corporate centrist people, and they're looking for their own candidate to run. And Manchin has flirted with it, but apparently Romney talked to Manchin and others talked to Manchin and said, look, you will be helping elect Trump if you run. So you can't run. You're not going to win, and it's just going to take votes away from Biden, and it'll help Trump. You don't want Trump to win, right? So you can't run. And there's been a lot of begging going on behind the scenes to all these centrist weirdos who want to run their own presidential candidate. And basically reminding them, like, you can't win and you're either going to help Trump or Biden. And in the case of those people, you'll probably take more votes from Biden, so you'll be helping Trump. And Liz Cheney's considering a presidential run. But that's the thing, guys. If her whole thing is we can't have Trump be president again, then she has to realize that her running would help Trump, right? Like at this point, yes, Liz Cheney on policy is uber, super, ultra conservative. There's no doubt about that. But the only votes she would get are like resistance liberals who just can't vote for Biden. Because her base of support now is among those hardcore resistance liberals and anti-Trump Republicans. But there's so few of the anti-Trump Republicans that I think there's no doubt she would take more votes from Biden than she would from Trump, right? I mean, look, maybe she has data that says otherwise or says it's closer to 50-50 or whatever, but my guess is she's, over the past how many years? 3 years or so? She's made a name by going on CNN, by going on MSNBC, and by bashing Trump relentlessly. She's like, I represent Republican Classic. He represents the new Republican Party, which is horrendous in every way, shape, and form. This is the argument that she makes. And so she bashes Trump so much that people who are more pro-Biden would probably vote for her over people who are on the Republican side. So she would definitely help Trump. I don't know if she thinks that's not the case. I don't know if she thinks she would hurt Trump. I don't know what's going on in her mind, but the fact that she's considering running for president, look, we already have. I mean, look at the facts as they are right now. We already have, you're going to have the Democrat, you're going to have the Republican, and then you're also going to have RFK. I don't know how many ballots he's going to be on around the country, but you also have him, and you have Cornel West. I don't know how many ballots either one of them are going to be on, respectively. But you have somebody who's like center-right leaning on stuff, and you have somebody who's left-leaning on stuff that's going to be running as independents, and you have a Democrat and a Republican. I mean, the more these people get in, it's true that you're going to take more from one pool of voters or another. In the case of Liz Cheney, she would definitely take more from Biden's pool. Look, if she understands that and learns that, then I don't think she'll run. But it sounds like she might be convinced of the opposite, that she'll take more from Trump, even though I don't think she would, in which case she maybe feels like I will run. But either way, like, what constituency is there for Liz Cheney out there for real? Like, guys, what you need to understand, what everybody needs to understand is, Okay, she's against Trump. That's great. That's easy. That should be easy, right? That should be easy. Unfortunately, it's not that easy to a lot of people. But it's a moral layup. But what else do you actually stand for? What do you believe in? In the case of Liz Cheney, she's just like Dick Cheney. She's just like George W. Bush. She's never met a war she didn't love. She supported torture. She supports every single free market or free trade outsourcing bill, whether it be NAFTA or TPP or what have you. She wants to deregulate. She wants to cut taxes for the rich, cut taxes for corporations. She's in favor of, conservative social views. I remember she had been bashing Trump for like a year straight, and then all of a sudden when Roe versus Wade is overturned, she comes out and says, I support Roe versus Wade being overturned, and you have all these resistance liberals who were swooning over her and hanging on every word, and then now all of a sudden they're like, how dare you, I feel betrayed. But you shouldn't have felt betrayed because she never agreed with you on the actual policy. She never agreed with you on it. You just started assuming she did because she would beat up on Trump all day. But like, remember who she is. Remember what she represents. It ain't pretty. It ain't pretty at all. In fact, it's just as ugly as Trump in many respects, except one. There's only one way in which she's not like Trump, which is she didn't support January 6th and didn't support Trump stealing the election. But in every other way, she is Trump. So let's keep that in mind. But God, if she runs, oh my God. I can't, man. I can't. It's just American politics is just too chaotic. There's too much stuff going on. I can't keep up with all this nonsense. It's driving me crazy. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.